I mean, that's the best throw I've ever seen on this hole. Literally parked. All right, so I'm finally getting the chance to try out the Paige Pierce prototype drive. The flight numbers on this thing are an 11.5 -1.2, so very similar to a Grace. I like to think of it as like a flippy Wraith or like a slower, flippier Destroyer, I guess. Probably really good for amateurs, and I actually have a Grace in my bag that I just put in there. I think it could be a good comparison. So obviously, thanks to OTB for sending this out to me. Paige Pierce drive, gonna put it up against this Orbit Grace and see how it goes. I'm expecting it to be a little flippy. Playing the easy par 4 from the whites here. Just gonna flip one out. We'll start with the Grace. All right, that's pretty much a thrower. A little bit of headwind. I'll try and throw this the same though, see if it has that same reaction. Oh, much more mellow turn. That's really good. Wow, that's really good. Grace honestly made it to a pretty good spot in the fairway, just not quite as good as the drive. Just gonna throw a zone up shot. No point in throwing the Grace from 230 feet. And drive was just about 50 feet further, so another standard up shot. So far, a little more stability. Skipping ahead to hole 5, blues. And I actually want to play this hole for 2 reasons. One, we got a tailwind. We were coming this way on hole 1, which gave us a headwind. Now we're gonna have a tailwind, so it'll change the flight of the disc a little bit. And 2, this is actually a hole that I like throwing the Grace on. It's got that gap hit. You have a double mando that you got to hit, maybe 150 feet off the tee. So Grace, great disc to throw on a hyzer, get it to flip up, ride right towards the end, and just make it way down the fairway, hitting that gap super easy. I'm wondering what the drive is gonna feel like, sort of with that same line here. I mean, I can already tell it's a little bit more stable. We'll see how easy it is to put through the gap. Try the Grace first. Yeah, I don't know if I'm just turning these over or what. I think I just turned that over, threw a little flat. Got a little bit of wind coming in. Kind of sort of switched to a headwind somehow. That's more what you want. That's really good. I mean, I think I just threw that significantly better, but the Grace is like definitely a little flippier for sure. All right, Grace made it just about to the red tee, which is not ideal. Really tempted to go roller here, but I'm gonna try and squeeze an air shot through on like a turnover line. Just kind of put it flat, let that natural turn happen. Oh, and it's just so flippy. I'm getting used to the drive every time I throw it and the Grace just turns over. Gotta throw kind of a weird gap here. I'm actually gonna try and go like a flip up forehand through the middle here. Not necessarily the disc I would throw with it, but we'll see how it handles it. Oh, right into a tree. I'm just gonna go ahead and throw my zone here. Pretty much just taking a par with both of these, I think. All right, I actually threw the Grace far enough that I'm almost pin high, so give it a stepper. Nah, no way. 2 boring pars there, but I do kind of want to try that sort of flip up forehand. The Grace isn't really a disc I ever throw on forehand, but I will use it as a comparison. I do feel like the extra little stability that the drive seems to have could maybe make it case for it to be that kind of flip up to flat forehand and then finish out with putting on a ton of hyzer. So I'm gonna play hole 6 blues here. I think it's like 350. Should be able to kind of play this flip up through the middle play. I usually go overstable or like a mid-range turnover, but we could try this out. So let's go with the Grace here. I'm gonna try to put on a bunch of hyzer. Try not to cook it over too much. Yeah, right into the shit on the left. Not really like a natural, doesn't feel natural to me to release a forehand in so much hyzer. Let's see if I can get a better result with the drive. This feels a little like stiffer too. Like it's gonna hold up to more torque even. Oh, yeah. Maybe circle's edge or like 40 feet. All right, so both discs are basically pin high. The drive's a little bit further. I think it didn't get cooked over as much, so if anything's going to show you the difference between these two in stability, I think that's a pretty good indicator. So I think I threw them both on a similar angle. Let's try and hit this little between the Twizzler and tree step putt here. Oh my God, I flashed the chains. So close. Oh, so bad. Left it so low. All right, hole 10 blues. Wide open. Gonna see if I can keep these on a hyzer. Not feeling super confident about the grace. The drive maybe. But I'm actually gonna throw my flippiest destroyer in my bag as well as a comparison, just to kind of show sort of how much more turn these discs are getting. It's not just the wind, and it's not just how I'm throwing them. They are like flippier discs. So really good to get like a lot of distance, easy distance with low power, but not necessarily great for really crushing. All right, let's go grace first. We are looking at like a slight right to left, but mostly headwind. I'm gonna try my best to put this on as much hyzer as possible while still pushing it forward. Oh, and it's super flipped over. Will it stay in bounds? Just barely. I would never throw that disc on this hole. All right, drive on the exact same line. Wow. Wow, that's actually really good. Whoa, it's almost pin high. I mean, I don't even think we need the destroyer because the drive was actually sick there. But we'll throw the destroyer anyways, just to show. Oh, and I turned that over a lot. It flew like the grace, but it's because I released it on pretty much flat angle. Okay, one more destroyer. This one's not as flippy, but I'll actually throw it on hyzer this time. There we go. Yeah, see how it just doesn't actually flip over. It just kind of gets to flat and comes back. About the same distance, but like more hyzer. All right, seriously flirting with OB with this grace. I got you guys on the sidewalk, which is OB, so right next to it. Still went pretty far though, like almost got pin high. Gonna just throw the Sky God up shot. Haven't thrown this disc enough this year, so see how it goes. Oh, it's coming in too hot, too left. Yikes, it's nowhere near the basket. So if you look at that yellow speck up there, that's the destroyer that I actually threw on hyzer, and the drive is right here. So they're like 15 feet apart. Obviously the destroyer was a bit higher, more hyzer, so lost a little bit of distance, but I mean, into a headwind, the drive was kind of able to flip up and have that like low penetrating angle, which on a wide open shot, not super important, but kind of in the woods, shot shaping, honestly, pretty valuable. And it went far. Yeah, and that's why you want to be right here on that upshot, because then, oh, it didn't do anything when it hit the hill. But this is so much better to be here than over by the OB. I'm not even gonna try to salvage that grace upshot. It's over there somewhere. Pretty much almost went OB. We'll just try and make this putt. Oh my goodness. There we go. All right, I think we've seen enough of the grace for today. Clearly, the drive is more stable than the grace. I don't know if it's just the wind today, but this is feeling way better for me. I'm honestly like strongly considering just putting this straight in my bag, taking that grace out, because this is feeling a lot more consistent, able to hold up into the wind a little better, and just kind of like fits a nice slot in my bag pretty well. Anyway, we got this par 5 here. Normally I go big spike hyzer. Let's see if I can just pump a drive up the middle. And by the way, can I say drive is like the worst name for a disc ever, because I keep saying drive and I mean the disc, but it sounds like I'm talking about just like throwing it off the tee. I hope they do the same thing with the Kong and replace it with something else, because I get it, you know, passion, drive, whatever. It's the same theme, just a bad name for a disc golf disc in my opinion. Oh, that is just insanely good. Wow. This disc is for sure going in my bag. All right, I don't know how the perspective is for you guys, but this is pretty uphill to get to the pin, if you didn't know. This is a great drive though. I hate saying it. This is a great spot to land. And I'm really starting to like this disc. Let's see how it holds like a little just sort of turnover at the hand. See if it will fight back. That was not a turnover, that was a hyzer. And that's OB. Okay, Never mind, we're done with this hole. All right, I don't know if that was because it was uphill, I've been throwing into a headwind all day, or if I've been throwing the Grace too much, but I really didn't want to give that anhyzer. But I was surprised when I picked the disc up how far up the hill it went. I was like less than 100 feet short of pin high, and that was on hyzer the whole way. If I got that turnover, I think I would have had a chance at like a long putt for eagle. So, I mean, it's an 11 speed, but this disc seriously bombs. All right, we're gonna try and throw it over the water here. I actually right now feel more confident throwing this over the water than my like most comfortable destroyers, which is what I normally throw on this hole, just because it's flying so nice. We got some people fishing the pond with nets or something, some kid, and I don't think they know I'm about to throw at them. Okay, they appear to have walked away far enough that I'm not gonna hit them. It's about 420 over water, slightly downhill. I mean, that's the best throw I've ever seen on this hole. Literally parked. Look at how many leeches or tadpoles, or whatever those are, in this pond. The entire pond is just lined with this many around the whole thing. That is absolutely wild. I mean, this is easily the best drive I've ever thrown on this hole. Not only that, it was on a rope to the pin the entire way. Like, it never was turned over, flipping up too much hyzer. I didn't pull it, just threw it on a rope the whole way. This disc is unreal. I think I've thrown this disc enough. This is probably one of my new favorite discs in my bag, easily replacing the Grace. It's just a little more stable, handles torque better. Like, it feels really good in my hand, honestly. Doesn't have too much dome to it, so it kind of just stays on a straight line the whole way. I mean, it's gotta be my new like go-to sort of long straight line disc if it's in the woods or just trying to hit gaps. I got one more hole here, 18 blues. Let's just crush it on an open line, see how far we can clear over that OB. I think it's like about 415 to 425 to clear the OB. And then if we want to get up to the mouth, it's like 480, 500 to get all the way up there. So I'm just gonna give it a nice rip and just finish the round off. Oh, and it's like stable. Like, oh, that's so far. I didn't even get a turn out of it. I mean, for an 11 speed on hyzer the whole way, this is a pretty dang good drive on this hole. Just throw the pure, finish it off, try to put us close to the basket. Yeah. Oh, it's a tailwind. Unfortunate. All right, Page Pierce drive, prototype drive. What do I think? This disc is amazing. It's good for pros, it's good for AMs. It's just a great straight flying disc. If you're looking for a slightly stable, but like sort of flippy 11 speed that you can just throw on hyzer flips into tunnels, if you want something that's a little flippier than like a max weight Wraith, or you want something that's a little bit more stable than a Grace, I'm sure there's a couple other discs that I could throw in there, maybe similar to like a, I think DD1 from Discmania. I don't know, this thing's going straight in my bag. It's so good. I'm keeping this one, so again, no giveaway. I keep getting discs that I really enjoy. I wasn't expecting to keep this. I was expecting to get rid of this, but it's just too good. Like, very rarely do I get a disc and enjoy it this much, and I have to hang on to it. So go to OTB Discs. I'm sure they have a bunch. Get them before they sell out. I'm sure this is gonna become a lot of people's new favorite disc, and I'm loving it, of course. So I'll catch you next time. Peace.